I'm delighted to be joined today by Richard Hill, Managing Director of ACCO, and Francois Morrow, Creative Director at UBM Life Built Environment. Now, both of you are extremely involved with Crash, both individually and with your companies. So I'd be really interested to know, what do you feel Crash has offered you as an individual person, and what's it offered your company? Richard.
I'll go answer from the company first, because that's a bit easier. But I think it's the key thing about Crash is it's a charity, but it's not focused on money and generating money. It's our products, but then it's also, where applicable, time and knowledge. And I think because time and knowledge is involved, it means you can involve many more people in the business than just passing a hat round on a dress down Friday or asking warehouse to send some materials over. So that involvement of the people across the company, I think, is the key thing that's satisfying and rewarding about working with Crash.
And Fran, what would you say from a company perspective that you've got out of the partnership with Crash?
I think very similar to Richard, it's about the engagement that we all have as employees of UBM in Crash, and the fact that we can use our professional skills to help Crash in their endeavours.
Great. And on a personal level?
Personally, I found it very rewarding. I've been inspired, I've been rejuvenated in some ways, professionally, because it sort of blurs the line between work and something personal, which was quite unexpected for me, I would say.
That's a difficult one, but I think the issue of homelessness. Sorry, I'll start it this way. It's the fragility of people's lives that mean within 2 or 3 falls of the dominoes or the roll of the dice, they can end up homeless. And to be able to help people who've collapsed like that, I find quite satisfying, because we all have that potential risk in our lives. You know, it's normal, average people who can end up homeless, and you know, to be able to help in a small way those type of people, it's satisfying, it's rewarding.
And certainly we find that there are a lot of preconceptions about why people are homeless. And would you say that Crash has changed your perception of homeless people? And if it has, in what way?
I think it has changed my perception. Pretty similar to what you said, it can affect anybody at any time, which is something I didn't necessarily... It's easy to think it's something that happens to other people. And it's also the way that you can help homelessness or people who are homeless in this through the Crash way, which has been an eye-opener for me, because I'm using my professional skills to do this rather than wondering what I could do or committing to maybe work in a soup kitchen, which isn't always feasible because I work very long hours. So it's a really great way of doing things in a different way that I haven't really thought of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think what I've seen in being involved with Crash is that, as I was saying earlier, that people end up homeless, so they go to a shelter. But it's after that many people have to be rehabilitated back into society. And I think that's something I probably didn't appreciate, the magnitude of that task. And of course the resources, the time and the buildings and the property part of that's needed to get people back into society after they've had their own personal crisis.
And given that Crash is able to offer 3 things to homelessness charities thanks to the companies, and that's the professional expertise, the building materials and grants, why would you recommend Crash to other companies? Why would you recommend to them that they become a patron of this charity?
I think partly it's because you can involve your whole company, everybody from the top to the bottom, which is, I think, quite a powerful CSR thing that UBM certainly have adopted in a big way now. So this is something that we now try and do with other divisions as well.
And do you want to give some examples of how you've supported Crash?
Yes, so we're at EcoBuild today. We've built and designed the Crash stand, which is in the Boulevard, which is obviously at the heart of the exhibition, with most people having to walk past your stand. We've produced a supplement for you, which is going to be a key piece of marketing that you can use throughout the year. I've obviously become a trustee of the charity recently. We've got the Dragon Boat Race coming up in the summer, which I'm really looking forward to rowing in again this year. Many ways that we've been involved in with Crash.
And Richard, why would you recommend that a company considers becoming a patron?
Oh, I think, outside of the cause, the homelessness cause, we've both spoken enough about that. I come back to my earlier point about time, knowledge, skill. I think that's a nice way of helping a charity. And well, you know this, I think the one thing that is so extraordinary about what construction-related companies can do for people is this issue of building their self-esteem. So it's not about just donating a bathroom, drainage products, whatever. It's the consequence of what you've delivered is so huge to an individual. And that, I think, is unique or unlike many other charities. You really target the individual, their well-being, their self-esteem.
And finally, when you think of Crash, what do you think of?
I think of 4 people who behave like giants.
Here.
Well, thank you both very much indeed, not just for this interview, but for all the incredible and imaginative support you and your companies give to Crash.
Thank you.
You're welcome.